Must understand, I've met with a lot of different people about this whole parenting thing in America. But when you want to look at the darkest side of where humans can go, right, you always want to, the greatest barometer that we look at in terms of darkness, as far as how dark we could get as human beings, there's usually no greater barometer than to measure a serial killer. So we're going to look at serial killers versus the parenting of America and why the laws need to change. So, for instance, when a man, the further a man is from divine or a spiritual place or God, the further he is from somewhere divine, the more that man demands control without earning it. Right? The further man is from God, the less he's interested in earning something, earning a living, earning his position, earning respect. He doesn't want to earn it. He doesn't mind stealing, but he demands it. He doesn't want to earn it. So the further a man is away from anything, he doesn't want to earn love in a relationship. He takes it. So I'll give you an example. Serial killers, right? So these are guys who take. Usually when they rape a woman, before they kill her, or whoever they rape, they normally label the body. Maybe put an X on it, cut an X into it, or put a card beside it, something beside the body. That's how, and I think 90% of the time, they go home and watch the local news to see if what the sick thing that they just did is discussed, right? To see if people are going to talk about what they did. These are people who are incredibly far from God. They're very dark, right? Satanic, demonic, whatever you want to say, dark. And he wants to go home and see who's going to notice it, because he's going to try to demand this respect he did not earn. Now, women serial killers are different. The data suggests that almost 60% of them are in the health field and mental health field, first off. So a woman serial killer, they said over 92% of the time or something like that. When she kills her victims, she lies beside the victim to watch them die. She listens to every breath struggle to come out, whether it's a male or woman, female that she's killing. The further a woman is away from God, the more she demands control. We're going to be looking at this all throughout the scriptures, history, just data. The further a woman is from God, the more she demands control. She will replace all love with a feeling like a drug of control. So a female serial killer, to feel, and she likes to stay there. She don't want to leave. She'll lay beside the body. And as we start talking about what's going on throughout the United States and parenting, the connection of what's being done to kids and how the fathers that are doing any of this dark, sick stuff, how they make the family suffer, and how the women, and why it's important to have laws. So that being said, there are most of the laws, I think the statistic that I read about most of the laws that exist right now in the United States, about 89% are designed around the sinfulness and the darkness of men. But there are very few, if any, laws actually designed for the sickness and darkness of women. The videos preceding the data that we're going to start looking at is showing why it needs to be laws for the darkness of women and the extent of when they go to these dark places, willing to give up anything for the feeling of control. I had a person I was doing business once in a venture, and she said, Marcel, she called her therapist, and she said it was a situation, she was getting a lot of anxiety, and she said, Marcel, sometimes the feeling of control is more important to me than air. So sometimes it's more important to me than breathing, to feel in control. So as we begin to fight for children and fight for families, we need laws that hold women accountable to that dark part of that character. This false feeling of control, this aphrodisiac of a demonic dark feeling. There are virtually no laws. And the country is being decimated for the dark side of women. Rapists should be in jail. Most of them are men. Pedophiles and murderers and car thieves, and a lot of these sins of commissions, a lot of them are led by men. They should be in prison, federal prison. But there are a lot that's been done to children and fathers and families that is, the numbers are like 92%, that is insurmountably. Child support, the CP, every government agency is saying it's been led in the 90s percentile by the women. And professional after professional saying there is no laws for the dark side of women. We all are subject to it. We need to create laws to govern the dark side of women, like we have laws governing the dark side of men. This is Marcel Russell. I represent Fathers Fighting for Families, reminding you that fatherhood, motherhood, and parenting is not for sale. Fatherhood is not for sale. See you around.